I was just thinking about how we are programmed as slaves, and how the fact that we as Americans, we are not aware of the program that we are under. See, when we are born, right, at the age of 5, and in some states at the age of 4, we go to school, and we go to school for 18 years, 17 years. It depends on how advanced you are. And one thing about when you run a successful business, right? When you run a successful business, you got to have successful workers. So as soon as we get of age, we go to school for 12 years. And during the time that we are in school, we are learning on how to be a successful citizen, how to be a successful worker, and how to be a decent citizen, right? But one thing that they don't teach us in school, they don't teach us about money. They don't teach us on how to use money, and they don't really teach us on what money is really used for, right? All they teach us is how to be a good worker. Because now that you out of school, and now that you going to college or whatever, the next thing is to go get a good job. They don't tell you to go get your own business. It don't tell you to, go get this money and use it. The first thing they tell you is go get a good job, right? Now, one thing that I've learned living in this life for the little bit amount of years that I've been here is that when you are running a corporation gotta have successful, obedient workers. And right now, if you look at human beings for who we are living in this country alone, I'm not talking about other countries, I'm talking about Americans. If you look at Americans for who they are, I'm talking about all Americans, black, white, Indian, Chinese, anybody. We are all basically slaves in our own country. We go to school every day. As soon as we graduate out of school, we become successful workers. But over the years, as you think about it, human beings is a lot of money to keep up. Because, first of all, you got to put all this money out to educate human beings. That's money right there, right? Then you got to pay all this money in food to keep these human beings alive. That's even more money. And it's like, when you think about human beings right now, it costs more money to upkeep a human being than it costs to upkeep a robot. Because if I want a robot and I want to build a robot to do surgery, to do cardiology, right? I can just build a robot, and that robot will specialize in cardiology, right? Instead of paying a man to go through 12 years of school, to go through at least 10 years of college, and then you got to get a job, and then I still got to pay for this doctor to eat every day. I got to pay for this doctor to live. It costs more money in that one doctor to get back and forth to basically help and cure people, and they can just basically make a $300,000 or $400,000 robot that can do the same exact thing that a human can do, and it'll be cost efficient. That robot don't gotta go to school for 12 years. That's money that they save. That robot don't gotta eat every day. That's money that they're saving. All that robot gotta do is get charged when the battery runs down. And as soon as they charge that motherfucker up, that motherfucker's right back in that surgery room doing cardiology for the next 24 to 48, 32 hours, however long that battery is. And when that battery runs up, all you do is put it on the charger. Do you know how much money that they will save? And this is why in the Anunnaki days, before they created the human being, before they created their first human being, the Anunnakis, before they created the first human beings that they say, it was other slaves that they had besides human beings. See, before human beings came on this planet, before we became who we are, it was other beings that was here that came with them. See, the Anunnakis had their own slaves that they brought here. These slaves was basically here to help them mine gold, right? But these human beings got too aware of what they was doing. They began to cause too much money. And then they begin to want to do what they wanted to do. So they became disobedient. Because they realized we don't want to do this shit no more. They realized that they realized their worth. And then they was too loud. They started living life. And they was only created to be slaves. So what they did was they killed off those slaves. And they created new obedient slaves, which was the human beings. But when they created the human beings, they created the human beings to not only be more obedient, but to be more smarter than the last slaves that they had. And right now, in year 2025, the human beings that they created is beginning to be like the old human beings. Like we are becoming to be more smarter. We are beginning to know our worth. We do not want to be slaves anymore. We are becoming to be like the old slaves that they had before. So what are they doing to us now? They doing the same thing to us that they did to the human beings back then. They're trying to destroy us and create new beings that's going to be more smarter. Like life only repeats itself, people. Everything that they're doing to human beings right now, they already did it. And these new robots that they are creating, these are going to be the new obedient, cost-efficient slaves. They won't need as much money. They won't need food. They won't need education. They won't need none of this shit. All we got to do is build a robot for what we need it for, and that robot would do it for a number of amount of years. We don't got to hear no lip. We don't got to hear no disobedient. We don't got to hear shit. We built this robot to do this certain thing, and then if this robot ever go down, we just create a new robot. They'd rather spend $300,000 to $400,000 on one robot that can last for many years instead of paying this human being for education. We got to feed this human being every day. Then on top of that, we got to deal with all this lip. We got to deal with this human being getting educated and giving us lip and being disobedient. And here we can just create a fucking robot that we don't got to hear nothing from. All they got to do is work. The same thing, like this is like I said, people. Life is only repeating itself. That's it. Just like America. Before America became what it is to be America, it was another name. It was another way of life on this land. And they created America. And just like right now, America is done for. America is already dead. They're about to change the new name of America. New leadership, new way of life here in America. Now, before it became America and it became America for what it is, what kind of country was this? What was the name of the country? How did they live? What was their way of life before it became America? And before it became the way it was before that, how was it before that? This is why we are living on top of generations. When they talk about the mud flood and all of that shit, if you go deep underground, it is other worlds that we are standing on. It was other way of life that we are standing on. And right now, this world, this United States alone is about to transition. We're about to lose millions of people. And what's going to happen once they destroy United States for what it is? They're going to rebuild over that motherfucker. And you're going to have new beings that is basically walking on top of an old civilization. And we are a part of that old civilization. You want to know where your other bodies are that you was incarnated in? You are standing on your old bodies. If you was reincarnated here 80 fucking times, you are standing on your old body. Because your old body is buried and you are walking on top of it. And right now, we are about to die. My body that I have right now, when it dies, they're going to create a whole new world on top of my dead body. So you want to know where your old body is? Look down. You're walking on it. And right now, we're about to go into the new world. Wonder what that's about.